The following is a presentation of iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Hello, sim racing fans. Welcome to the diciest weekend in the schedule. It's Las Vegas racing from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for tonight's Las Vegas Strong 200-mile event. From those of us in the booth, I want to say thank you, sim racing fans. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. I'm Austin Coop. Kelly Dahl is with me here in the booth, and the lucky and talented Cisco Scarmoza is bringing tonight's picture to you. Will luck will sparkle or fade for a lot of these drivers. Round number 3 is where we're at, and Kelly, we're going to see 50 less miles than last week, but it's going to be all the same when it comes to these guys. When it comes to these guys driving around this track, they're going to have about the same amount of fuel that they'll have, or the same amount of runs that they'll have like last week, but they're not going to have as much time to make their moves happen. So 200 miles today, and we'll have a winner at the end of this one who might just be lucky enough to be there.
Didn't realize we're going to be doing gambling puns all night, but we'll roll with it. But yeah, 134 laps, not the most amount of time for these guys to do anything, and from what I've been told from these guys, they're only being able to run maybe 30 to 34 laps with the fuel tank that they've got. Also, there's been complaints that the setup is extremely tight, so there may be some problems, especially later on in the run when these tires really wear off, that as they go into the corner side by side, that guy on the bottom might end up getting into that guy on top and just slamming him into the wall. So we'll have to watch out for that throughout the night.
We're going to take a look at your current point standings right now. Stephanie Lessentine has had a good average finish so far this season of a 5.5. We've only had 2 races so far this season, but right now she has one of the most laps led, and she's also got 1 pole on the season. So right now she's one to really beat, and currently she's actually got not such a great start on the qualifying. She's in 15th, but last week she qualified deep in the pack and she made her way out towards the top 5. And she's got 2 top 10s on the season already. She's the only driver to do that of all the drivers. So she's the one right now who's there for all these guys to beat. And then you've got James Nunn, Cody Gibson, Scott Formosa, and Jamie Walker, and then you got Aaron Bennett, Rich Jetty, George Hendricks, Randy Tesser, and Tim Matthews. And Kelly, this is a pretty big race for the Vegas Strong community. We're in Las Vegas for tonight's race, and of course we all remember what happened a few weeks ago in Las Vegas with the attack that happened. And these guys are doing a really cool deal where they're going to be donating $2 to the GoFundMe. And not only is the series, but I do believe the title sponsor as well, BNC Landscaping, will also be attributing to that.
Yeah, it'll be $2 for every green flag lap run here tonight. So hopefully that gives these drivers just that little bit of extra motivation to keep this race clean and hopefully get and log as many green flag laps as possible, because that could be a good chunk of money to be going to those families of the victims.
And not only will it be great racing, but definitely that'll go to a great cause for all of those affected. And we've also, I think during that week, we also had given our thoughts to those people who are affected. And of course, it's never a good time for any of those people and folks involved, but that's kind of what we continue to do what we do and try and give some entertainment and some fun on a Saturday night like tonight. So we'll go to our starting grid to get that all kicked off. Justin Michael has reappeared after a week off of a little bit of Talladega festivities last week. So he'll start off great in the first position. And Seth DeMerchant, last week's winner. Both of our winners are going to start on our front row. And then you'll have Mark McCrary starting in third. Scott Formosa, he'll start in the fourth position. Then you've got Brian Cutts. He'll start in the fifth position. Michael Atkins Jr., he was really fast in practice. We'll have to see if it transfers over to qualifying, as he was the fastest driver in practice. Then you've got Matt Marr, who's going to start in the seventh position. Ralph Vandervorst, he'll start eighth. Cody Gibson will start ninth. And Jamie Walker, he will start 10th.
Starting in 11th is the 3 of Aaron Bennett. Robert Gillenwater rolls off in 12th. 13th to 39 of Dwayne Dunn. 14th will be the 14 of Bobby Terrell. Stephanie Lessentine, as mentioned, will be rolling off in 15th. She'll be looking to improve her position real quick. Tim Matthews rolls off in 16th. 17th goes to 37 Dustin Hall. Scott Simley in 18th. 19th, Ricky Howell Jr. And rounding out our top 20, Chris Gibo.
Louis Robinette, he'll start from the 21st position. You got Jeff Ryan, he'll start at 22nd. And Channing Slatcha, he'll start 23rd. Shane Hawthorne, 24th. Randy Tesser is going to start 25th, and Joshua Banks will start 26th. That'll be the last of all the drivers who made a qualifying effort. Then you'll have George Hendricks, Rich Jetty, Michael Warren, Michael Waite, Stephen Herring, and Dylan Phillips. You know, I think that's the third time already that we've had some Michaels right next to each other. And there's a lot of them, and we'll mention them as the season goes on about how many Michaels there are. You'll see us get it tongue-tied, but that'll round out your 32 truck field for tonight's Vegas Strong 200, and we'll get a little bit of track facts here for you in just a moment, and they'll pop up on your screen. I don't have the deets in front of you, but I know for a fact that this is a 1.5 mile track here, Kelly.
Yeah, one of those tough 1.5 milers. There's a lot of them on the NASCAR calendar, but we got a little bit different from here this week than we do from Atlanta. I mean, the surface entirely is different. Atlanta's a lot more abrasive, and it's a lot slipperier because it is an older surface than here at Vegas. Here at Vegas, these guys will be able to get a little bit better grip, but as mentioned, the setup is a little tight, so I think those front tires are really going to wear off real quick, and we're going to see a lot of guys that'll have problems. They'll enter into the corner, and then they're just going to slide way up the track. So we'll have to watch out for that, at least especially during the first stint, as these guys get used to the way these tires wear.
Yeah, and since '96 is whenever this track was built, as you saw in your track facts, and you also see that the pit speed was 45 miles an hour, so a very slow pit speed, just like last week. Here at any of these 1.5 mile tracks, it's a very fast pace to a very slow pace, and we'll definitely see that happen. You know, we're going to have some short pit runs here. We're going to have 30 to 34 laps of a fuel run for a lot of these drivers, and we're about to get this thing kicked off. Two winners, first and second. I'm really excited to see those two up front and to see how they battle it out. They haven't been on the track with each other at all this season, because one started the first race, and then Seth DeMerchant made his season debut and won in the same race. So iRacing official pace car will make its way down, and then Justin Michael and Seth DeMerchant, they will get going. And a good start by Justin Michael, and Seth DeMerchant, he's going to start in tow, and for 200 miles of the Vegas Strong 200.
Also a good launch from Mark McCrary. He's got his nose onto the inside of Seth DeMerchant. He's going to force Seth DeMerchant to stick along that high side. Door to door, those two go around turns 1 and 2 and give the advantage to 31 of Mark McCrary. He was able to work that inside line. However, still can't quite get clear of DeMerchant just yet. And as these two battle, Justin Michael puts a bit of a gap on these guys.
Yeah, pretty close between these two for second and third right now, but it looks like the outside is not that bad of a place to be. And you're going to see McCrary use the apron. It's pretty early to use that apron, but he's going to start using it, and a lot of the other drivers are using it too, so perhaps it's the way it is. These guys are going to continue to use it all night. And look at Justin Michael. He's not really getting away from these guys behind him, and if anything, Seth DeMerchant's going to try and go for the pass here on the bottom. Look at him go. He goes from top to bottom, and he's going to already go for the pass from the very bottom of the track. We'll see if he's got that bottom hooked up, and possibly he does. Clears the 87, and we will have a lead change on lap 2. So 2 laps, 2 lead change, or 1 lead change.
That was an absolutely insane run he got off that high side. Seth DeMerchant is going to be deadly up there, it seems, throughout the night, because he had some trouble on the first lap on that high side, but second lap he already got it figured out, put the pedal down and launched past those other drivers. And now looking back to the field, looks like the 2 of Michael Atkins Jr., he's trying to make some moves, but he's just caught up in traffic.
These guys are really, really close together. We did not see this last week at Atlanta. And, wow, I mean, there's side-by-side battles all over the place. But, you know, you can see in this single shot, the top 10 is just absolutely right there. And Aaron Bennett's in 11th. And so the top 11 really is right there. And look at the 80, like you said. He's coming through the field. Scott Formosa, he's trying to make a pass for third place right here on the bottom. And, you know, talking about Seth DeMerchant still in first right now and being trying to be chased back down by Justin Michael. He's led the most laps of any driver in the series so far. If he leads this lap, it'll be 60 laps already on the season. Next person you go to would be Stephanie Lessentin, who led 43 laps at Daytona, or 40 laps at Daytona, a couple more last week during the pit cycles. But I think that's 3 wide just for a moment behind them. Looks like was the number 2 of Michael Atkins Jr. And this top 5, you know, we've seen a lot of these guys, Formosa, McCurry, and Atkins Jr. be absolutely stellar and really consistent, and we're going to see those guys continue to battle on the backstretch.
As mentioned, Michael Atkins Jr. had the fastest lap in practice, but just couldn't quite get it hooked up in qualifying. And now he's stuck in traffic. He's shown a couple flashes of speed throughout these first few laps here, but he just can't quite find the gap that he's looking for. And now he's losing a bit of ground. It looks like the 88 now is going to try to challenge him possibly. Actually, the 88 now still door to door with the 31, giving a little bit of almost a bump to Mark McCrary. And McCrary has to check up and is going to lose a little bit of ground with these guys.
That 88 of Jamie Walker has made some moves. He started in the 10th position, and look at where he is right now. He's in 5th, so 5 positions in 5 laps. That's quite a bit of, that's a good truck right there, and that's somebody we need to continue to watch. He was 3rd in practice, so I know he's got a fast truck, but wow, that's fast. And he's wearing the BNC Lawn and Landscaping colors on that truck, which I do believe might be the first time he's ever had that scheme on for that 88 truck. You know, he was a 17 last season, and he's made that number switch. Isn't a big deal for him. Still same drive out of that truck, and so he's trying to get this top 4 down. And DeMerchant hasn't really made that big of a lead in front of these guys. If anything, it's kind of just stabilized right here in front of Michael Atkins Jr. as they're starting to single file out.
Yeah, and Scott Formosa has been able to get up to the bumper of the 87, give him a little bit of pressure, and that seems to have lit a fire underneath Justin Michael. He's now got that truck up towards where Seth DeMerchant is right now, and now it's starting to shape up to be almost maybe a 3-way battle for the lead. Looks like Justin Michael is looking for just that one good run or that one mistake from Seth DeMerchant, but if he is looking for a mistake from DeMerchant, that may not happen. Look at that. He's going to get right up to that bumper, nearly making contact that time coming out of turn number 4.
I think he wants to get to the outside of him, knowing that the inside is just going to destroy the tires, or possibly just, I'm not sure, trying to do something different. There he goes on the outside. I don't think he's got the momentum. He's there on the outside. He's going to try to make the pass move, or the pass from the outside, and he does not have it yet. He has right rear. Got to really punch it in right now. DeMerchant's going to be able to hold on for now, but he's still on the outside. This is a great battle for the lead on lap number 9, and give it to DeMerchant still, but he's still on the outside right there. Justin Michael's having a great battle for the lead with Seth DeMerchant.
But also, as you mentioned, going on the inside is going to wear down the tires. This may be a bit of a long-term strategy here for Justin Michael. As he gets another good run on the outside. He's now actually going to get his nose ahead, and just behind them it's just shaping up for a battle as well as Jamie Walker moves to the inside of the 80 truck. So we have got 2x2 for at least 2 rows here, as these trucks are door to door trying to jockey for position. And at the line, it will be almost too close to tell. It's tied. They were absolutely tied at the line. So those 2 trucks are equally matched at this moment.
I think Justin Michael has a little bit more momentum here, and he's going to have a little bit of the push from the 80 right here, and DeMerchant's going to be stuck on the inside. What a move, though, to get to these outside, knowing that inside was not his preference. DeMerchant really had a really good truck that first few laps. It made that pass, and I think he now knows that possibly pushing that truck a little too hard, a little too early, as Justin Michael resumes his lead as he had. So second lead change of the night. We're only going to have 2 drivers to do that, but looks like Formosa, he's going to make a pass to the outside. And Formosa has been so calm. At least that's what I would say. Maybe he won't say that, but I've seen him make some really good strides, especially at the end of last season, and right now he's really doing pretty well. Top 3 truck right now, trying to get 2nd position away from Seth DeMerchant, last week's winner. And gosh, we're seeing great battles here in the first 12 laps, now on lap 13.
Yeah, but these guys got to be careful. Jamie Walker is just kind of biding his time right behind them, saving his tires a little bit and just looking for a possible gap that he can go through. And he's definitely not going to push that truck 3 wide. It's way too early for that. Jamie isn't the type of guy that's just going to throw it 3 wide on lap 13 of 100 plus. So he's going to wait, and there he's got his gap there. He's going to duck to the inside, and he's going to try to make a move on Scott Formosa's. Formosa just losing that momentum that he had on the outside line, and Seth the Merchant just getting it hooked up now on the inside and just keep it pulling away now from Scott Formosa.
You can't forget about Jamie Walker in that 88, who looks bad fast as well, starting 10th. And he's another driver I'd have to believe, and it looks like he's going to be able to get that 3rd spot from Formosa right there. So he didn't have to do anything special like go to the outside lane. He just had some raw speed right there. And gosh, Jamie Walker won a lot of races last year. I think it was 7, maybe 6. I'd have to go back and look at last year's statistics. But nonetheless, he won a good amount of races, and so did Justin Michael. And I'm really looking forward to see what this 88 machine has in store for these first 2 guys, just because he has cut through the field a significant amount and doing a really good job right now.
Yeah, Jamie Walker was 3rd fastest in practice, but just couldn't quite get his lap times down to that level for the qualifying, which put him a bit further back in the field than I think he liked, and just made moves right off the bat, didn't waste any time. As we mentioned, the first time we saw him, he'd already moved from 10th to 5th, and I think that was within like 4 laps. So Jamie Walker has got some great speed under that truck, and I guess if we just watch throughout the night, he might be able to really take a challenge to Justin Michael and Seth the Merchant.
Remember, Justin Michael had 8 wins last year, and then Jamie Walker had 7. So they had a combined 15 race wins, which is half the season. Well, that was an incredible amount of wins for these guys. And right now we're about halfway through that fuel stint, right? And really, right about now, this is the time these guys are going to be thinking about maybe just settling in.
Yeah, it's just about halfway through their fuel run here, so if these guys maybe will just kind of settle in, be a bit more calm on their tires, and try to make those tires last as long as they can to maybe make some moves towards the end of the run. We'll have to see who can actually that may be a defining moment of the night. It was who can be the best on those tires. It may not be at quite the level of Atlanta, but as we mentioned, the setup is tight. If they're too aggressive on those tires early on, they're not going to have the grip on the front end to make that truck go around the corner late on in the stage.
Looking back throughout the field, Aaron Bennett, he's in the 7th position, making a move on Brian Cutts, and he slides right in front of him, kind of similar to what we saw in the Xfinity race earlier at Kansas today. That was a really close move that he had right out of 2, and right there, the 3 truck is moving himself a little bit forward, and Brian Cutts, he started 5th, and he has lost 1 spot. Might lose another to the 7 of Cody Gibson, who started in 9th, and that's where he was that last time, but he's going to get 1 and maybe another right here. So the 7 going to the bottom, and the bottom seems like it's where these guys want to be maybe later in this run, but the top seems like it has a lot of speed as well. So really, this track is really giving some great racing on both sides. Atlanta, we kind of saw maybe a single groove, maybe a double groove at certain times, but right now, right off the gate, we're seeing 2 significant grooves that these drivers are able to use. And the 31 of Mark McCurry, he's fallen back quite a bit. He went from 3rd to 9th, so he's going to be a guy that's going to want to try and come in pit road as soon as he can.
Yeah, that's another thing we haven't talked about tonight is the pit strategy itself. Who's going to try to undercut? Maybe someone's going to try to just stretch out the field. Maybe some guy's going to pit in early and try to get fresh tires. And looking back now, 39 of Dwayne Dunn, he's going to try to make a move on the inside of Matt Mara. And he's going to get a great run through the back straight and just force Mara up the track and be able to get a not quite clear coming off turn number 4. So that 22 still fighting for the position. But now the 39 and 22 fighting hard, and that may not be the best idea for those tires.
And while they're continuing to battle, look back up towards the very front of the field with Justin Michael and Seth DeMerchant. They're at it again. DeMerchant's to his back bumper and is very, very close to making something happen if he doesn't soon. And my gosh, this battle has been going on for a couple laps. And you can see that 87 using that white line, going down to the apron to try and get that truck to rotate just a little bit more. And he's one of the only drivers I've seen to really use that. But DeMerchant is right there. He's 1 truck length, maybe just about half of one right behind him, and he's doing a different line. He's cutting the corner just a little bit lower than Michael is right now, and right there you can just see that they're pretty dang even off the corner. If anyone is if anyone's to get either of these guys, it's each other. And wow, they're doing a great job of DeMerchant's doing a great job of not losing sight of being that close, because when you're that close to somebody, you can really easily make a mistake, and if you're a guy in the lead, you can very easily make a mistake. It's under a tenth between those guys. You normally don't see those kind of intervals as he's looking to the bottom to make a pass right here, and DeMerchant's gonna go up the track and maybe use him up a little bit, but it doesn't work right there, and Michael will continue to hold the lead.
Yeah, Michael just squeezed him down on the exit, just prevented DeMerchant from being able to really get on the throttle, because Seth knew if he stomped on the throttle, he was going to turn Justin and possibly end both of their nights. So it's a risky move by Justin, and he just knew that Seth wasn't going to just risk that much. But it's a very dangerous move, and it's if you play that game with the wrong guy, it could be the end of your night.
And we've seen these two guys win races. Both of them are trying to, at least this moment, try and win another one and already become the second or a two-time winner in this series. And when you look at them throughout the point standings, they're already in great positions. You know, they're tied for 19th place in points, of course. And look at DeMerchant come down to the bottom right here in the apron, and he might have a good entrance right here to turn number 1 to make it work. And actually, it looks like Michael may just give him the spot. Yeah, that's what it looks like, but it looks like he might try and cross him over. Not quite. DeMerchant goes back to the lead. We'll have another lead change for this, but it's only been between two guys, and this has been really exciting.
And this may just be our story of the night, because these guys were over a second ahead of Jamie Walker, who is the third place driver. So it really is just these two guys fighting it out, and then the rest of the field. Seth DeMerchant and Justin Michael, they have all the speed here tonight, and it looks like Seth now is really turning it on. He's already put a 2/10 gap on Justin Michael and is opening that gap by the second. So he definitely had a lot left on those tires, but these guys are going to start thinking about their pit strategy soon, because we're already on lap 26.
And even when they were battling, Kelly, the interval between themselves and Jamie Walker, who sits in third, got larger. You would think with these guys battling for positions that, you know, maybe the next guy will start to catch him, but that's not happening. Or at least it's not between Seth DeMerchant and Walker. It looks like Justin Michael actually did lose a little bit of ground more to Seth DeMerchant than he normally does, and he's falling back to Jamie Walker just a little bit. But like we talked about, the pit strategies are going to start happening here in about 3 laps. The fuel window is about to open up here pretty quickly for some of these drivers if they haven't already. Looks like Dylan Phillips may have either had an issue or has come down pit road once already, and he sits in 32nd place, which is last on the field. So we're looking at and he's right in front of the leaders as well, but you know, those two guys, their battle's kind of summed up at the least a moment. But you start looking throughout the field, look at the 7 of Cody Gibson and Bobby Terrell. They're coming down pit road for service.
Yeah, our pit road has begun, or our pit road services have begun here tonight. And
did Terrell forget where to go in pit road? I think he did.
Terrell possibly missing his box, which will definitely put a damper on his night, which will force him to go around and come back in one more time. Oh, he's gonna get a bit of trouble there coming back onto the track. Just hits the banking just a little too early, nearly upset that truck, but that'll put him a lap down, possibly without even taking any service. And he has called, but he will be coming into the pits once again. So Bobby Terrell, some big trouble for him, putting himself a lap down with basically a self-inflicted pass-through penalty.
Oh my goodness, that is not something you want to have happen. So the 14 truck will come back down pit road and definitely try and mark where his box is supposed to be. It's supposed to be 14th box. And he was well past it when he started to make that curve. And you can see him right there. He was way past it before he realized it. And what heartbreak for that 14 truck. Nonetheless, he will have to come in. Ralph van der Vorst is going to pass him right there on pit road. And he's going to be in for service. And like we said, it's going to be the beginning of a few, and then we're going to see the 88 of Jamie Walker. He's going to come down pit road. The 18 looks like he's coming down pit road, barely making it. That's Ricky Howell Jr., and this is just going to be the start of things to come for a lot of these drivers. 11's coming down as well.
You got to wonder when Seth DeMerchant and Justin Michael are going to come down pit road. They could be just trying to stretch these laps out, but the pit, they're going to have to pit soon because they have lost over a second, now about a second and a half from their original starting times on fresh tires. So that's another thing. If you pit early, when you come back out, while these other guys are running on their worn rubber, you got fresh rubber. You're putting it down possibly a second to a second and a half faster laps. So after those guys eventually come into the pits, they're going to come out and you're going to be, who knows, you maybe even be past them by the time they come in, just because you were running those quick laps. However, that does also put you at a disadvantage, because later on you're going to be on the worn tires, but they're going to be still slightly fresh. So it won't be as much of an advantage, but these guys that are staying out are going to have to definitely think about pitting in soon.
If you want to make it a 4-stop race, you've got to make it to 33 laps, which is what some of these drivers are on right now. And so I would assume that the drivers that are on the track right now will either pit this time or the next time if they can make it, although it looks like most of these drivers can make it. But right now I just did the math, and I'd say this is the most opportune time to come down pit road, and we'll just have to see which drivers do. Looks like the Merchant's going to pass it up this time, and a few other drivers are going to as well, but it looks like the 87 of Justin Michael will come down pit road. And Formosa, Michael Atkins Jr., they'll come down. That would be my strategy, but it looks like we've got one in the wall. That's going to be Dustin Hall. He's got some real good rear end damage on that truck by coming into pit road just a little bit incorrectly. So number 32, or 37, I should say, he's going to have some damage, and he might get bumped out, or he may still just admit, but he's going to have some damage on that number 37 truck.
Looks like the 57 of Seth the Merchant is slowing up, and yes, our leader is pitting, so I think he was just waiting for the guy behind him to pit. Ooh, big wobbles from those trucks as he tried to slow it down to get under that 50-mile-an-hour pit road speed limit. So these guys are definitely having a bit of trouble just getting these trucks to slow down, as you really want to get in the pits as fast as you possibly can, but you come in there too fast, you're either going to spin that truck out or send it in the grass.
Remember, DeMerchant had pit road issues last week and was able to recover because of a caution. And right now, we'll have to see if he has any more issues. He got in well, like you said, just barely. But that's, I think, one of the things that we will always watch for the 57 is if he's able to keep that pit road under control. He's fast on the track, but when it comes down the pit road, we'll have to see how that all pans out. Looks like he's going to get passed by a couple of competitors out there. Looks like Gibson, Walker, and a few others are already out in front of him. So he will come out right actually behind Justin Michael, who's just battling there for a little bit. And so Michael has 1 lap fresher tires, but he's only a little bit in front of him. So we'll have to see how that all pans out. After the first round of pit stops, looks like they appear to be over. At least at the moment, it looks like after we round out everything, Jamie Walker will be our leader, and he'll lead his first lap of the night.
Yeah, some good strategy call for Jamie Walker. That puts him up front, and Jamie is known for these good calls. He's made a lot of good strategy calls that got him into great positions over the last season. So not only is he a quick driver, he is a smart driver. He usually undercuts. He does those early pit stops quite often. He prefers to run on those fresh tires, but he is also mindful of that pit window. So as we saw, he did pit kind of early, and that got him to a great position. He's now 0.6 ahead of Cody Gibson, 2 seconds over Justin Michael. But Jamie's also got to worry that did he pit maybe too early to make it to the end without adding an extra stop.
Yeah, and if there is a caution, he'd be in a good position, but if it goes green the whole entire race, which remember, if it does, there will be a big charity donation to the folks with the Vegas Strong. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there'll be a little bit extra if it goes green the whole way, but I'm not 100% certain on that. But that would be really cool to see for everyone. Yeah, I think even Jamie Walker, if he doesn't, if it doesn't pan out for him. But I think that's what he's banking on, is perhaps a caution coming out, because he's got a good lead. He got a 9/10 lead over Cody Gibson. Who, speaking of Cody Gibson, we haven't, I don't think we saw him very much. I think we saw him run only 3 races last year in the truck series, and his average finish was actually 34th place. So right now he's got two starts. He's 3rd in points, and right now he's in 2nd. So really good story of Cody Gibson right now, having a really good kickoff to the season after racing a couple races last season, and right now in that number 7 truck, really starting off things well.
Yeah, and Jamie Walker, he's now got himself into a groove. Not only is he opening up a gap on Cody Gibson, he's even increasing the gap to Justin Michael. So Jamie just needed some clean air to clear his mind. he's now putting some quick times down in that truck, and he's actually got older tires than Justin Michael. Justin Michael, I believe, hit after Jamie Walker, and so Jamie is definitely found his line, definitely found his rhythm, and we'll have to see how long he can carry up this momentum.
1.2 seconds to Cody Gibson and 2 seconds back to Justin Michael. Then you've got 4 seconds to Seth the Merchant. That's a pretty big difference in speed that the few laps with Jamie Walker has helped. Now those times are coming down, but not by a whole lot, Kelly. You know, that's something that we start to think about. You know, if you do the short pit, is it going to pay off that you'll get more time in the long run? Or do those long run guys who, you know, stay out 33, 34 laps and get those older tire or get new tires later, does that benefit them? Well, I'll tell you that it'll at least benefit Justin Michael when it comes to this battle versus Cody Gibson, which will happen pretty soon for second place, because he is absolutely catching him, and he's actually knocking off a lot of speed off of Jamie Walker. That time went from 2 seconds to 1.7 seconds since the last time I said it, and right now, coming off of turn number 2, he's going to look for that spot. And it looks like Cody Gibson may be giving that position up here in turn number 3 over the radio, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going high. The 87 is going to go low, and he should have him out of 4. Yeah, it looks like he'll have it. He'll throw his hand out the window, giving him a big thanks for moving out of the way, and Cody Gibson goes from 9th to 2nd, and now he'll go back down to 3rd.
Man, that's not something Jamie wanted to hear. I think he wanted those two guys to battle it out, and just so Jamie could kill some time and maybe hope Justin wore out his tires a little bit. But now Justin Michael, he's got a clear path to Jamie Walker, and it's now down to 1.6 seconds. And we saw that Justin Michael, he's got some quick pace. He was our pole sitter for the night, and he's been running back and forth with Seth the Merchant over the first fuel stint here. So Justin Michael's got that pace to be a leader, and he's now cut another 2/10 off of Jamie Walker. So Justin now got himself into a groove, and now Jamie, in a few laps' time, may be coming under fire.
Right up front, looks like Lewis Robinette will go 1 lap down to leader Jamie Walker, and I think it's a good time to just kind of look through the field and see where everyone's at right now. Just kind of look through the top 10. Looks like Jamie Walker, of course, in the lead. Then you've got Justin Michael, Cody Gibson, Seth the Merchant's 3.3 seconds back, so he's also cut that lead down quite a bit. Scott Formosa is in the 5th place. Then Tim Matthews, he's in the 6th position, so he's on 10 positions from where he started. So we haven't really talked about Tim Matthews. He ran quite a bit of races last year, and ran some pretty good races. So this is looking good for him in 6th place, even if it is on strategy. So definitely keep an eye on him. 6th place, and you've got Aaron Bennett in 7th, Michael Atkins Jr. He's in the 8th position. You got Ralph Vandervorst and Matt Morrow in 9th and 10th. So those guys are running pretty well. And then right behind them, I guess I'll throw in Stephanie Lesentine, since she does have the Vegas Strong truck. Remember, she, if you don't know, she is from the Las Vegas area, so she's definitely supporting her Las Vegas friends, family, and just community, really. So really cool to see that pink Vegas Strong truck out there amongst all these 31 other trucks out here. So looking through the field, I mean, it's gonna be a slinky. You know, I kind of like referencing that. But what's gonna happen is that Jamie Walker's gonna slowly lose time to Justin Michael, and then Seth the Merchant's gonna start catching them. We're gonna have a nice little couple battles, I'd say, for position once it's said and done. But I'll say that Jamie Walker made himself a really, really good decision. Just because what he can do now is he can go longer in those runs, Kelly, and maybe he can make up that fuel if he maybe goes 35 laps each time now. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, that is another possibility. There's also the possibility he could be banking on a caution, but now that the field has been able to go through that first green flag stop, it's a little bit more spread out, so that caution is just a little less likely to happen. And now Justin Michael, he's got himself within half a second of Jamie Walker, so Justin Michael now coming into frame, and Jamie Walker is definitely going to be, I hear a crash for somewhere on the truck. I think we're staying green, but I think someone may have gotten into the wall on the inside.
Unclear who that is at the moment, but we'll definitely, that might be Dylan Phillips. He looked like he was a lot low off the track, but we'll find out who that possibly was. Maybe the 10 of Jeff Ryan. Looks like he's in pit road right now. Maybe he had an issue a little bit ago, but unsure. Maybe we'll find out who that was and exactly what is going on throughout the field. But that lead right now is getting pretty slow, or not pretty slow, is getting very close And you can just see Justin Michael getting closer and closer in that rear view of the 88. It might happen pretty soon here. Lap traffic coming in and playing a big role in what's going on with these leaders. 87 creeping up, only about a truck length or two between those two. And looks like we're going to have a lead change in just a moment here. Looks like the 87 is going to go under the 88 here in the corner. Ronthal on the backstretch. He's making a peek for it, and there he goes the inside, and the 88 really won't have any counter to it. He'll go side by side for the lead, but 87 is going to have it right there. He'll clear, almost clear him right there, but new leader is going to be the 87 of Justin Michael.
Yeah, Jamie didn't just roll over and take it. He did fight back a little bit. It looks like, oh, he nearly went for that counterattack on the inside, but I guess he prefers that that middle line there through the middle of the corner. He decided to stay there instead of trying to duck on the inside of Justin Michael. I guess he also probably knew that his tires just couldn't quite keep up with Justin. So he's going to try to use that draft as well as he could and try to keep up with Justin as much as possible. But Jamie Walker now, he's starting to feel the effects of that early pit stop.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And if he's going to pit the same amount that he did earlier, he'd have to pit actually in about 6 or 7 laps. So that shows you how soon and how much different that strategy is. Still in second place, he was in 3rd or 4th, I do believe, before pit stops happened. So not a terrible amount for him to lose, and I think in certain ways it's going to be worth it. But you can also note that these guys are passing Bobby Terrell right now and going to lap him down. Remember, he made that really fatal mistake on pit road that may have ended his race. He'll be the first truck to lap down, so if a caution does appear, looks like he will be the wave around at this point. But you can also see Seth Merchant looming in the distance. He's in 3rd right now, 1.3 seconds off Justin Michael right now. And that is also getting shorter and shorter. That time and that interval between those guys gets shorter and shorter every single lap, and about by 1/10.
Yeah, Seth Merchant does have 1 lap fresher tires. He decided to stay out until he saw Justin Michael duck down pit road. So he's got, it's not too much of a difference, but it is enough of a difference that Seth is slowly chipping away at that gap.
And I think that's something we just got to mention. I think it's obvious, though, but all these laps have been green flag, These guys have been running a very quick pace. We're just about at half an hour right now with these guys and almost at 60 laps right now. And so really right about now is the time when you say, all right, we're probably in it for the long haul. If you're one of these drivers, that this is a really long green flag run. And I'm getting a total from Cisco in the booth, and in the production trailer, and he's saying that $108 would be donated at this point, which is a really awesome number to see right now. So lap 55, that's what we've got, and it'll only keep getting higher and higher if these and when these guys run these green flag laps. We've got plenty more under the belt, and Justin Michael completing lap 55. It's a really cool statistic to see, and knowing that that's going to a good cause. So going back to the track and what's going on right now, Jamie Walker is going to try and hold off Seth the Merchant, and while these two battle, Seth the Merchant wants to get around him as soon as possible, knowing that strategy that he took is just a slight bit different than Justin Michael and a lot different than Jamie Walker. He'll be able to get around him pretty easily right here, but he's having a little bit of an issue trying to clear him. Looks like the 88's had pretty tough on the outside still, and that's going to slow up to Merchant just a little bit, and he's not going anywhere. He's got the momentum. He's going to keep him down on the bottom right here, and this is only hurting Justin Michael right now for Seth to go to the very bottom of the track, and he's going to have to slide up in front of him, and he's going to try and maybe give him a little bit of nudge off the turn number 2. So the Merchant will get the position, but not without having a little bit of an issue.
Again, Justin Michael, I'm sure if he's got dual wheel timing up on his screen, he's watching those gaps intently. And he may just be smiling a little bit, seeing that Seth the Merchant took so long to get around Jamie Walker. And that really did hold him up quite a bit. Seth the Merchant really didn't take any time at all out of Justin Michael that time around.
And then when you look at the driver behind him, Scott Formosa, had the ability to do that because Formosa is about a second and a half or just about a second behind him as well. And so he knew even if he did hold him up, he wasn't going to compromise his position completely. You know, the third was the farthest he's going to go back, even if they get into like a little bit of a ruffle or anything like that. So, and Scott Formosa is doing pretty well. He's right where he started in fourth position, but we're getting pretty close to halfway before we know it on lap number 59 of 134.
Yeah, and slowly these laps are starting to chip away, and we're going to get up close here to another pit stop run cycle here. So Justin Michael and Seth the Merchant, they're going to be thinking about their strategies this time around. Maybe Seth going to try to undercut this time, or maybe he'll stay out even longer this time. Justin Michael, he's probably going to play a little bit more reactionary to Seth the Merchant, similar to what Seth did last time around. Or maybe he could be watching those times chip away and decide he's going to pit early this time around.
And before we get pit stops, you mentioned Joel Real Timing for just a moment. I'll give him another shout out because they are the official timing software of LSRTV. And so for these drivers, you know, if they're in the cockpit, they've got a guy on the box or a spot or anything like that, they can use Joel Real Timing to really help them out. So definitely give him a shout out at joel-real-timing.com. I'm keeping this short because pit stops are happening. Jamie Walker is down pit road.
Jamie Walker making his call now, and Justin Michael, Seth the Merchant, Scott Formosa all out there still at this moment. Scott Formosa actually 3.6 seconds off of Justin Michael. Seth the Merchant now, he's got himself within a second of Justin Michael. Now he's gaining even more time. Had a great run around turns 3 and turns 4, and that's probably going to take another good chunk of time off of Justin this time around. And yeah, he's took nearly 3/10 off that time. So 0.6 seconds separates Justin Michael and Seth the Merchant. So Justin, he's definitely going to be having to think about maybe pitting next time around.
We saw that he had one lap before. He came down one lap before Seth the Merchant. And we also saw that Seth the Merchant was quite a bit faster in those long runs. This is a really good strategy for Justin Michael, I think, to pit that one lap sooner. He's getting the track position he needs. And he's a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, and he's on the track a little bit quicker than DeMerchant is. But at the same time, DeMerchant is bad fast right now, and he's going to be a hard one to beat. Only gets about a 10th that last time, but I'd say that you're probably right. I think Justin Michael will be coming in here within the next 2 or 3 laps. I don't think right now he would be able to make it if he comes down right now to the very end of the race, but it will be close. And I know DeMerchant's thinking the exact same thing right now. I'd like to come down and get tires right now, and he does not get a good exit on that corner, and it looks like right now it's not going to matter. Justin Michael will lose the lead to the 57 of Seth the Merchant right there in one fatal swoop down to the bottom. So strategy doesn't matter anymore. DeMerchant's got the lead.
Michael nearly lost his truck coming off of turn number 4. There was a big wiggle from him, and he nearly put that thing into the wall, and he's able to hold on to it, but he lost a huge chunk of time, and it looks like he is going to slow up and possibly, no, he's going to stay out there. He's decided that even though his tires are worn and the truck is becoming more difficult to drive, he's got a strategy to stick to, so he's going to keep that truck out there, keep going after Seth the Merchant. He's down 0.2 seconds.
That's a big move that these guys are having to, or not move, but strategy. What's wrong with the Merchant? Is he out of fuel or something? It looks like he's really slow. Oh wow, right side damage on that 57 truck, and looks like the Merchant's going to lose a lot of speed. He's just going to come down pit road. I think that's a really good strategy for him. And remember, coming down pit road, he squeals those tires all the way down to 50 miles an hour. So that is not what you want to see if you're Seth the Merchant right before pit stops start. He's going to have to deal with that right side damage, which will probably slow him down for the rest of the race. And he may have just handed this one to Justin Michael, at least at the moment.
Yeah, that was a big hard hit into the wall coming out of turn number 2 there, and definitely a bad moment for Seth the Merchant. As we saw just a few laps before, Justin Michael had some issues coming out of turn number 4. So as evidence, these trucks are getting difficult to drive as they wear off the tires. So Justin Michael, he's got a huge gap over Scott Formosa. He's 3.3 seconds ahead. If I was Justin Michael at this point, I would just come down and pit. If the truck is getting that hard to drive, you've got to just play it safe and get some fresh tires under there, because as shown by Seth the Merchant there, one wrong move can spell disaster for you.
Yeah, we watched him go down pit road, and have a little bit of tire squealing. But I think actually, if I were Justin Michael, this would be the time, and actually it is right now. He's coming down pit road, and he gets it just in time. Oh wow, he barely made it to 50 miles an hour before that, and what a drive he's been having too. But I think if once you saw Seth the Merchant have the issue, I would actually stay out because you'd still be faster. At least that's my opinion, and you'll be good in fuel. Maybe Seth the Merchant cut it a lap early just because of that, trying to get that speed back in those tires, and the momentum as well. But Michael's going to be doing service on his truck in the very first pit stall, so he'll be able to go right out on the track. And looks like Aaron Bennett, he is going to be one of those guys who's coming down now and just led that last lap. That'll be a second lap led of the night, I think, as he has come out later and later each pit cycle. So as this one goes through, we'll just have to see which driver appears where they are. The pit road is absolutely a challenge for these guys. We haven't seen anyone in particular have any bad luck or bad news on pit road just yet, but we've seen a lot of close calls.
No, we did see the 14 just completely have a bit of a moment and forget where his stall was.
That's right.
Now Justin Michael, he comes out of the pits just ahead of Seth DeMerchant, and now they are battling on track. Seth DeMerchant with those one lap fresher tires, and he's got his nose just to the quarter panel of Justin Michael. So these guys not wasting any time and getting back to the battle.
Yeah, this is the battle we want to watch, and it's been the battle we've watched the entire race. And now it looks like it's in the hands and the advantage to the 87 right now. I think you can forget about Jamie Walker, who's 5 seconds in front of these guys, who's still trying to play strategy right now, and you can give it to these guys who are still absolutely going hard at it. And right now you're looking at Scott Simley, who's in the lead, and he's 10 seconds in front of these guys. And if I'm not mistaken, Simley might be trying some strategy here. He's actually coming out of pit road now, so he's going to be quite a ways behind a lot of these drivers in terms of that. And remember, he's last year's champion, and he did fairly well last 2 weeks. He's just had some bad luck, and definitely looking forward to him having some good finishes. But when you look through the running order, we've only got 20 trucks on the lead lap, and then Rich Jetty and Bobby Terrell, they're looking to go down a lap here. And Cody Gibson's now leading these guys, and remember, he had a fast truck as well, but he's being hounded by the 88 of Jamie Walker up there towards the front.
Yeah, and remember, he also waved by Justin Michael earlier on, but doesn't look like he's going to wave by Jamie Walker, as these guys are now going to battle for the race lead. Jamie showing that he's got a lot of speed, had a good run that time. He's going to dive to the inside, get all the way down to the apron, and look at that huge run that he's got. He's going to nearly clear him through the front straightaway before they even get to turn one, and Jamie Walker easily passes Cody Gibson without too much trouble.
And with all those green flag laps, this is helping and hindering certain drivers, and you got to imagine that Seth the Merchant with that little bit of a scrape. And we saw, I think somebody in the Boss Man 78 said that damage is going to really hinder the Merchant. He's absolutely right, and it's he's falling off quite a bit, almost a complete second off of Justin Michael right there. And you're seeing that the strategy is playing out for Jamie Walker, at least in his role right now. His role is to try and maybe bank on having some other misfortune for some of these other drivers. But as we get to lap 73, it's about the halfway point. So we'll take our midway race break presented by iRacing, the leading online racing simulation. Developed from the beginning, the iRacing service has been a centralized racing and competition service. iRacing hosts and officiates races on virtual tracks all around the world. In the fast-paced world of esports, iRacing is a one-stop shop for online racing with officially sanctioned racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, World of Outlaws, and many more. While we go through this midway race break, we're going to go through each one of these drivers and see where your favorite driver is right now. Jamie Walker is in the first position, and you got Cody Gibson in second. Justin Michaels in third, with a second lead over Seth DeMerchant. That might be the lead and the win if these guys go green all the way. You got Tim Matthews, who's still doing a stellar performance from 16th to 5th. Then Michael Atkins Jr., he's in 6th place. Aaron Bennett 7th. Stephanie Lessentine's come up quite a bit from 15th to 8th. And you got Scott Formosa, he's in 9th right now. And then Matt Mara is in 10th.
11th, we got the 66 of Ralph actually now the 11th just switched over to Robert Gillenwater. Mark McCreary currently sitting in 12th after starting in 3rd. Ralph Vandervorst has moved back to 13th. 14th to Brian Cutts. Scott Simley is currently sitting 15th after that last round of pit stops. 16th to Shane Hawther. 17th, Michael Waite. 18th, Chris Guibeau. 19th, Rich Jetty. Bobby Terrell sits in 20th, the last truck on the lead lap.
Yeah, then you've got George Hendricks, and all these guys are at least 1 or 2 laps down. None of them out, actually. So you've got George Hendricks 21st, Randy Tesser 22nd, Dustin Hall 23rd. Michael Warren is in the 24th position. Louis Robinette is in the 25th position. 26th is Channing Slatcher, 27th, Ricky Howell Jr., and this begins the line of 2-lap down trucks. 28th is Joshua Banks. Dwayne Dunn is in the 29th position. Dylan Phillips is in 30th. 3 laps down, Jeff Ryan and Steve Herring round out the field. And 31st and 32nd, 3 laps down for your full field rundown. That's been a look at your iRacing Midway race break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. For a limited time, you can now visit iRacing.com/World of Outlaws and take advantage of some exclusive promo codes and get yourself on iRacing with a 1-year membership for half off, or simply give it a try with a 3-month membership for less than $5. Again, that's iRacing.com/World of Outlaws. And so while Jamie Walker puts the field under a 2.5-second lead, we will take a break and we'll continue all the action in just a moment. You've been watching LSRTV's coverage of the Vegas Strong 200 with the United Sim Racing League. Right now you're watching Jamie Walker try and hold off Justin Michael here. This is a battle we've seen all too much in this series, and right now the 87 is going down to the bottom for that lead here on lap 84. Doesn't quite get it. They're still side by side for that position, but this is for the lead right now. And Justin Michael will have yet another lead change and have another lap led under his belt. And that number 87 machine still side by side, but it looks like the 87 will complete that pass and welcome you all back to the Vegas Strong 200 as Justin Michael completes that pass. And We are still under green after 85 laps, which is going to be a humongous donation towards those Vegas Strong folks. And right now, Justin Michael leads the way.
Another thing to talk about is he is now 3.6 seconds ahead of Seth Demergent. And these guys, Seth Demergent and Justin Michael, had been battling it out all throughout the night, just door to door, extremely close. And then at the end of that last fuel stint there, Seth got into the wall, and it appears that he has done a huge number to that truck as he's losing even more ground. He's now 3.9 seconds back, so Seth Demergent has definitely busted up that truck, and it's going to really affect him throughout the night.
Yeah, we may not even be able to ask him about how his truck is handling if Aaron Bennett has anything to say about it, because he is still, he's catching the Merchant pretty quickly, as he was actually one of the last trucks to pit on that last one, and so he's in 4th right now, continuing to gain on him just a little bit. As Seth Merchant continues to fall. Looks like this is kind of in the hands of Justin Michael at the moment. You know, Jamie Walker, he's up by 4.5 seconds, or 4.25 seconds in front of Seth Merchant. And really, like you said, Demergent's, that damage has just absolutely hindered him. And you think a little smack in the wall isn't a big deal, but right now that's all. I mean, that truck is exactly the way it needs to be as it rolls off the grid. And as soon as you make a deformity on that truck, it changes the entire complexion of how it drives and races. And right now, he's got to have to deal with it and try and make something work. You know, I'd expect these guys' last pit stops to happen on or around lap 100, because it's a 134 lap race, and they can make it around 34 laps on their last stint. We'd say 34 laps is the most that they should, although we think that the 3 has made it a little bit longer than that. Right now, a commanding lead from Justin Michael. Even that over Jamie Walker is 1.5 seconds behind, then 4.5 for Seth Merchant, like you were talking about.
I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but if you look carefully as they go through turns 3 and 4, there are a lot of marbles starting to form on that track on the high side and below that white line. So if these guys do start battling later on and someone gets up a little bit too high and gets out of that the black grippy area there, not only are they going to not have the grip of the rubber down on the track, they're going to hit all that loose rubber up on top, and if someone's not careful, that's going to put them right in the wall. And also, another thing we saw, Justin Michael, one of the things he was liking to do was when he was under attack and he was trying to defend the low side, he was getting those tires below the white line to try to help him turn. If he does that now, it might cause him just to not have any grip on those left side tires as he picks up those marbles.
Yeah, right, you are, and we're going to keep an eye on that, because I do think, yeah, we're going to see on that onboard of Jamie or Justin Michael, we saw marbles fly off that right front, and I think we are seeing a little bit of a formation with those at the top of the track. And it is, like you said, it's going to be a big problem for some of these drivers. When you start looking throughout the field, I'm still at a kind of a loss of words about how good of a job Tim Matthews has navigated his way towards the front. This is not an easy track to gain 11 positions at, but he's done a fabulous job of it. He's in that 54 truck and doing a really good job of it. It looks like he's got that Kentucky paint scheme that he's always had. Looks like he's had a different title or a different front sponsor on it. Looks like TSK Designs is on it this time, but you know, we've seen him run a lot in this series, and he's had a lot of good runs. And right now, fifth is the right place is really good from where he started. Aaron Bennett started in 11th as well, and he's doing quite a good job as well. Just being right there, kind of right now we're at the point where we're gonna have one more pit stop. It's gonna happen in about 10 laps, but a lot of these guys are gonna just have to try and make it. Right now, it looks like they're not having a. Well, it doesn't look close to having a caution anytime soon. So right now, these guys are in a point where it's survive and get to the end.
Well, they won't have a caution if we won't stop. Or they probably will have a caution if we don't stop talking about it, because this is all we've shown many times before. The second we start talking about it, the second one comes out. But at the moment, Justin Michael, he's currently running away with this thing. He is 5.5 seconds up on Seth Merchant, 6.5 up on Aaron Bennett. So there is a big gap between Justin and the rest of the field. So if he just relaxes and just drives his race, he doesn't even have to push that truck anymore with the damage that has happened to the 57 truck. He can just calmly drive the 87 thing around, and he'll be fine for the rest of the night.
Yeah, and then you got to start thinking about Merchant and Bennett having a battle, and Merchant's still not out of it right now. He's looking still really tight at it too, and that damage is only hurting him right now. And you're seeing right behind him, look at the number 7 of Cody Gibson. He's a lap down, and so he must have come down pit road. Remember, he was leading at one point, and I'm unsure why he came down pit road, but nonetheless, he had to come down. And really, he was doing really well at one point, and I think maybe there might have been a mistake, or he had to come down pit road or something like that. But right now, that 7 truck, 1 lap down in 18th place. We'll have to find out what's going on. But nonetheless, right now, the Merchant's still trying to fend off what looks like to be possibly a battle for second here in the coming laps, maybe for pit stops.
It could possibly be, and Aaron has been slowly chipping away at that gap that Seth the Merchant has on him, and it's been held up a little bit by some lap trucks that have gone down pit road early, just wanted to get by as they've got that fresh tires. But now Aaron, he's really cut into that. He's less than half a second back on Seth the Merchant. He's getting closer and closer every lap. So Seth the Merchant's domination. Oh, he looks like the Merchant might have, he might have scraped the wall once again. So more problems for DeMerchant, and every time you hit the wall, it's just going to get worse because he might be just knocking the camber out of that thing.
Hey, maybe that's what he's trying to do. Maybe he's trying to actually make it so it turns a little bit more. But nonetheless, the 3 goes to the bottom, and he's going to try and get that position away from him. And he's going to go side by side. Looks like the Merchant's going to have no contest right there, getting to the wall. Only hurt him, did not hurt the 3 at all, and the 3 was able to get around him pretty well. And so, the 3 to the second position gets real tight, and here's good battle right now. The Merchant comes back to the bottom and will actually clear him before that. I don't know how Bennett didn't get into the wall, but I'm sure he's glad he did, because he would have been in the same boat as the 3. So this battle will continue, and looks like he's going back down to the bottom. So side by side still for the second position.
Yeah, and as mentioned earlier tonight, these drivers did tell us that the trucks are extremely tight. They're all running the same setup, so it's just some problems that these guys are going to have to deal with. And, oh, we got some smoke on the track. Looks like a truck might have spun coming off of turn 2, but we are still going to stay green. Thankfully, there is a lot of apron on this track, so if someone spins down there, there's no problem. And as these guys are going around, look at Jamie Walker going to kind of sneak up here, and he's going to go right by with those fresh tires. And here comes Seth the Merchant, deciding to pit early.
Yeah, and while he's going down pit road, I did find out what happened, and Formosa and the 2 of Michael Atkins Jr. got together, and I don't know how there wasn't a caution, because those 2 trucks actually got a lot of damage, and the 2 of Michael Atkins Jr. was a lap down, I think, at the time of that happening. So a bad break for those guys. He's down pit road right now getting service, and might be a little bit early, but a lot of drivers coming down pit road, and Lessentine, she's going to be coming down this time. And like you said, the Merchant came down just a little bit ago, and here we go. Here's the final pit stop of the night.
Yeah, from this point on, they can make it on this one last stop. So we're going to see pretty much everyone coming down within these next few laps. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Michael just stretches it out just a little bit longer so we can have fresher tires at the end. Oh, actually, he gets a good chunk of that white line, and he will actually slow that truck up. He's going to come down pit road now.
Yeah, himself, the 93 behind him, who appears to be Rich Jetty, who's actually just lapped down. So they come down together. Rich Jetty feels that maybe a good time to come in is right as the leader comes down, and he'll probably try and stay the single car 1 lap down. But DeMerchant, he's in that position at least for the moment. But looks like Formosa is either coming down again to maybe get some damages repaired on that truck, or I'm unsure, but the 80 truck is coming down again, and that's heartbreak for the 80. He was doing so well. He's a 1 lap down, and obviously the leader's right in front of him, or was in front of him, who lapped him down during all that chaos. But unsure exactly what happened right there, but I'm hearing that maybe the 87 and the 25 possibly had contact under pit road. But
I was watching them as they were coming down pit road. It was close. The 25 came out of their box and immediately got into that acceleration lane, as it looked like the Justin Michaels wanted to start getting into that lane to slow up, but luckily they saw each other coming and avoided contact. But it was definitely a close incident those 2 had down there.
And right now, with the few drivers still staying out, Bennett and Gillenwater and Mara, they're seconds in front of Simley, who's also staying out. Who, remember, he was trying strategy earlier on as well. Looks like Davey Walker will be the first driver. Maybe Cody Gibson will be the first driver to stay out and try and, or to pit and try and make this work. Maybe hope for a caution. Remember, we're at 102 green flag laps straight on through. and which is an incredible amount. And you saw the replay between the 25 and the 87, so that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt Justin Michael just a little bit, but I don't think it's going to hinder him to breaking his race pace right now. And Dylan Waters still out front with a 2.4 second lead in front of Matt Mara, but nothing. I don't think that's going to bring him down pit road, except for maybe a caution, because right now you can't make it on fuel, and he's down pit road now actually.
Yeah, looking at Justin Michael, he's definitely got no damage to that truck, so that thing is clean. He's still going to have a lot of speed, but at the moment he's going to hope that he's got enough speed to maybe take away from that pit strategy that Cody Gibson and Jamie Walker had. So after this latest cycle, Gibson will now be sitting in the lead, 2.2 seconds up on Jamie Walker, and that will not last. Jamie Walker making a great move to the inside. They are side to side going down the back straight. Jamie Walker a nose ahead going into 3, and Jamie Walker will once again take control of the lead of this race, if only temporarily.
Walker right now has a 5.5 second lead, which is only going to be chipped away. We know he's got way older tires than Justin Michael, but just a little bit. But I do not believe that he is going to be able to hold that for long, although he's got a 5 second lead now. But he's got to make it 30 laps now and make it and beat Justin Michael. So as they continue to roll, he's got to make sure he hits his marks absolutely on point, and Justin Michael can't have any issues. That issue on pit road, that actually could make a big difference between these two guys. We saw that there's probably about a good half-second loss right there between them. So as they continue to roll around, Gibson loses about a second, and Michael continues to go in about a quarter of a second that he gets that time.
Yeah, but another thing is Jamie Walker has never been known to be great on the old tires. He's usually a lot better on the fresh tires. So that's one of the reasons why he usually pits in early, because he can put down some blazing fast laps on some fresh Goodyears. But as they start the laps start to tick down, he's not really great at managing worn tires. So that may come back to hurt him, as Justin Michael will have the fresher tires later on in the race. But Justin Michael having a bit of trouble with traffic. I think he didn't take out all that much time on Jamie Walker this time around, but Jamie now had to pass 3 trucks in that last corner, so maybe Jamie's going to lose a lot of time now to lap traffic.
Oh yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing there, Kelly, is that Walker definitely did not have the greatest experience with lap traffic right there, and I'm sure if he could tell him that his displeasure, and if it mattered, he would do it, but I'm sure right now he's just focused and trying to lay down really good times. And I think the one good thing he's got is Cody Gibson perhaps being a slight roadblock to Justin Michael, but nonetheless he's cut down a second since last time we talked about that 5 second lead. It's now 4 seconds. This continues to dwindle down. Right now the advantage goes to the 87, but Jamie Walker's in the lead. Anything could happen. Caution could come out and could save the number 88, and also the 7 of Cody Gibson. Those guys are really kind of banking on that. But also something we talked about is they may not be able to make it on fuel. There's a slight bit of that still left. If they've saved any, then they've done a really good job of doing that in this stint. But I can't imagine that the 7 of Cody Gibson will be able to make it the rest of the way, to be honest. And Jamie Walker will be really, really close. Justin Michael, Aaron Bennett, Tim Matthews, DeMerchant, Lessentine. I think they're good, but it looks like Lessentine actually may have just lost a few spots right there to Scott Simley, right? And yeah, looks like Simley will take 7th over Lessentine, who will now fall to 8th.
Yeah, Jamie Walker, I'm looking at it right now. Jamie Walker pit on lap 93, so that is a huge stretch that he's going to have to make the fuel last the entire way. So Jamie Walker definitely gambling on someone bringing out the caution. If that happens now, everyone comes down pit road, everyone takes fresh tires. Jamie Walker gets to keep the lead, and he gets to now battle for the lead with Justin Michael. If this green flag run continues, which it seems it may be the case, as we've had a few tussles between drivers, but they usually end up sliding below that white line, which prevents the caution from coming out. So these guys are definitely keeping it clean here tonight, and Jamie Walker may be in some trouble if he doesn't get that yellow.
I will say that the pace for this race has been absolutely quick. We have had, nonstop green flag action this entire time, but, drivers...
Walker pits.
Walker's coming down pit road, so that's going to be the deciding factor in this one. No contest on the track. It's going to be strategy that brings the 88 down, and this could very well be the end of his chance to win the race. He knew that he could not make it the rest. It's going to split this one in half, and you thought it would happen. You didn't think you'd make it to the end, but possibly he'd be able to stretch it, but not the case. He's coming down pit road, getting some right sides, and he looks like he's only taking right side, so he's going to cut that pit stop in about half, and he's going to go right back on the track. So 88, probably not going to win this run.
No, this might even put him a lap down as Justin Michael is flying around this track. Now his closest competition is Aaron Bennett, 7.1 seconds back. Justin Michael has got a completely clear track. He's actually just lapped Jamie Walker, as Jamie Walker just comes out of the pits now. So Justin Michael is completely uncontested at this moment. He just has to drive that truck carefully, drive that truck calmly. He doesn't even have to put down fast laps. He just has to put down careful laps and make sure he doesn't do what Seth DeMerchant did earlier on in the night.
7.1 seconds is an absolutely big lead, like you're saying. And so, you know, Justin Michael's in turn number 1 and 2, and when you look at back where maybe that number 3 truck is, he's just now in turns 1 and 2, fighting, well, not fighting, but trying to get around that number 14 of Bobby Terrell, whose one mistake earlier has amplified to 2 laps down in 21st position. And as you start to look throughout this field, we're only on 9 trucks on the lead lap, and that just shows you the pace and the focus that you've got to have on pit road. You never know when you're going to get these long green flag runs. Certain races, it just happens. I think, you know, in fact, I think there's a 1.5 mile on the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series that these guys went the full race distance, going green flag all the entire way, and you know, you get these every once in a while. And as a driver, you've got to be really prepared to come down pit road. You've got to practice that. You've got to make sure you've hit your marks, even when you've got old tires. And some of these drivers really focus on other things, and when you do get these, you're caught off guard. And really, about majority of the field, I think, either was or just wasn't expecting this long of a run. You've only got 9 trucks on the lead lap, and that could still change between now and the end of the race.
Yeah, Justin Michael could have any number of problems. He's now actually getting caught by Jamie Walker. However, Jamie is just a lap down. He's just wanted to get his lap back at this moment, and he will probably do so easily as Jamie's got those fresh right side tires helping him get around those corners. He's going to duck down to the inside. Justin Michael is just going to stay up on the high side, but Justin Michael, he's still running a 6.9 second lead over Aaron Bennett, and actually that is now down to 6.8. So Justin Michael just not putting down the super fast laps that he was earlier. He's just taking it easy and just trying to make sure his truck stays clean until the end of the night.
As it stands, I would have to say that Stephanie Lesenteen's still in a good position to hold that championship lead at the moment. She's in 8th place right now. She lost a little bit to Matt Mara, so she had 7th position for a little bit, just lost it to Matt Mara. And then she has Brian Cutts behind her, but she's actually kept a pretty good pace with Justin Michael if they were to be next to each other. But the other guys, these guys have pit later on, and their strategy's been quite a bit different. But I think she's going to be able to still hold on to that championship lead, because Cody Gibson's behind her, James Nunn's not on the track, and Scott Formosa had issues. Next driver you go to is Aaron Bennett, who's 11 points behind, and so he's only about 6 positions, about 7 positions in front of her. I'd say that's a safe bet that those two would be really close in the points after this race. And to be fair, Lesenteen's had all but good luck. In the first 2 races, she's had some bad luck, and right now she's probably going to get another top 10, so she'll be the only driver with 3 top 10s, which is pretty good so far in the season to be very consistent as she has.
Consistency is key when it comes to championship points, and she has shown that she is possibly the most consistent driver here. She probably would have won in Daytona if it wasn't for that bad luck that she just ran into and damaged up that truck that she had. It was a very fast truck that she had a couple weeks ago, and she's put down some good times since then, been able to keep herself in the fight and able to get herself up to sit in 8th place at the moment. So another top 10 probably in the cards for her tonight. Looks like I think I heard another truck get into the wall, but it's not Justin Michael. Justin Michael still running cleanly, still holding a 6.8 second lead over Aaron Bennett, and just a few more laps to go and he can finish it off for the night.
Yeah, not long until we'll have 10 to go, and all these drivers are thinking one thing: just get to the end, and especially all those drivers in the top 10. Unless you're Aaron Bennett or Tim Matthews, you're thinking, throw me that caution to Merchants, Assembly. Everyone in the lead lap's thinking, except for Justin Michaels, thinking, throw me that caution. Someone just get in the wall, spin out, do anything you can. But you know, a lot of these drivers have been very talented to keep their trucks straight, and I think we've only really had one accident on the track. I think it was between the 2 and the 80 in turns 1 and 2. But right now, these guys are really consistent on how they've been racing tonight, and they're going to be crossing 11 laps to go here this next time, and that lead between Justin Michael and Aaron Bennett is getting smaller, but it's not getting smaller by a good amount. You know, it's still it's going to be a long time if they were to stay out. That way it would be that way. So, you know, if we're going to look at the closest battle on track, you're going to look at Seth the Merchant and the 68 of Scott Simley. Scott Simley is your champion from last season. He's trying to get himself a top 5, which he's got. He's looking for a little bit more in turn number 4.
And he may have something for Seth the Merchant. As mentioned, Seth the Merchant has that right side damage from earlier in the night. Actually, he's hit the wall at least twice that we know of. So there's some heavy damage to that right side of that truck. But Seth the Merchant was an extremely fast driver throughout the night. He sat in second during the qualifying, then really took a battle to Justin Michael until he hit the wall for the first time. But that damage is really the equalizer here, as Scott Simley slowly closing that gap and just looking for his moment to make a move.
Yeah, when you watch that onboard, you can see their different lines. You can see that Simley's going towards the top side and just kind of, you know, trying to ride that momentum. As you see him go to the outside of DeMerchant right here, you're seeing him try and make the pass. And DeMerchant actually is going to let him go, it looks like, but he overdrives the corner. Looks like he's going to still possibly have the momentum off of turn number 2, and he'll get that position. He'll get it, and he'll get himself into 4th position right now. We've seen him do this a lot.
Great.
Yeah, we've seen him do this a lot. He gets up there towards the top side of the track and just has a ton of speed and is able to do it. I think just a little bit better than about everybody else when it comes to getting up that way towards the track. But he also has a funny way of just getting to the front. It doesn't matter where he starts. You know, he started 18th. He's our biggest mover of the night, and he's in 4th place. This is why he's, you know, your defending 2-time champion, and right now, with 10 laps to go, he's doing what any driver would want to do and just keep going forward. Not every driver in the field can say that. Justin Michael can't go any farther forward, and Aaron Bennett right now has his hands full trying to just catch him, and Tim Matthews is sitting pretty in the 3rd position. So Scott Simley probably doesn't have any more drivers to catch right now, but he's doing a really good job and showing why he is a 2-time champion.
Yeah, but that pass he did make was very risky. As you mentioned, he almost overdrove it. He came into that corner hot and nearly got himself into the gray. As you see, like you can see going around the track, there's that big big patch of black rubber that's been laid down in the track. And there's a bit of grip there. If you get into that gray, there's not quite as much. And there's also the marbles. I can't quite tell really with the shadows of turn 1 and 2 how bad it is if the marbles up top. But if he got into those marbles, that could have caused some problems and maybe even put him into the wall. But he was able to get it down just in time to get back into that grip and able to drive off that corner really well.
And the 54 of Tim Matthews has to break his car down pit road and get some service, which is going to rally some of these drivers at one spot. And he's going to come down quite a bit. I said he had a great run from 16th to the front. That was definitely due in part to coming down and getting service on that machine. So 54, he's going to lose a lot of spots. It looks like he may even lose his lead lap status. And he's going to lose a lot more than that. A lot of positions lost. He's going to get passed by a lot of drivers. And that strategy almost worked, and the caution just did not come out. This is going to be a big donation for these guys. I don't know if they were expecting to go green flag the whole way, but I'm sure they were prepared just in case that did happen. So Tim Matthews finds himself falling even farther down from 15th to 16th, which is where he started. It almost worked out for him, I think, if he would have had a caution. But the top 3 of the night now is Michael Bennett and Simley. DeMerchant, he's got himself in 4th, and then Mark McCray, that's your top 5. So we've only got about 5 laps to go, and things have keep changing. I wonder if any of these other drivers towards the front are going to run out of fuel. I mean, can Justin Michael make it the whole way?
I'm trying to take a look at where Justin Michael pit last. He pit on lap 101, so I believe he will have enough to make it comfortably, unless he didn't take a full tank, trying to just make that maybe make a fuel call and try to just gamble a little bit. But I think he's got enough. If he took a full tank, he should have enough to go the entire way. I think we have seen drivers go longer than 30 33, 34 laps, which I think is just enough that he needs to, just the amount he needs to make. So Justin Michael should have enough fuel in that tank for the rest of the night.
We are under the 5 to go mark, and he is losing his lead pretty quickly. He's now down to 6.5. But I don't think he's pushing the truck very hard at all. He knows that if a caution is to come out, there's no need to push the truck because he's in that safe zone. As long as he's not the caution himself, then he will be just fine. He can coast and just easily make it to the end. I thought that 14 truck may want to get his lap back, even though he's not going to get any positions. He will. I think he'll try and go to down to the bottom and get that lead lap status back, but. Right now, Justin Michael, he just has to coast. He just doesn't have to push anything, doesn't have to risk anything, just has to wait and get that checkered flag. He just has to have a couple more rounds this next time by. When he comes to the grandstand, he'll get double popsicle 6 stands in the air. He'll be ready to go to try and get his win.
Yeah, and Aaron Bennett is just too far back to be able to touch him. Justin Michael just had the great strategy calls for the night. He made those perfect calls, came down at the right time, was able to drive that truck carefully, as he did have a couple moments. As mentioned, he earlier tonight, kept coming off turn 4, had a big wiggle, nearly lost that truck completely. And if he would have lost it, I don't think he would have just been. It would have been just a spin or a slap against the wall. It looked like it would have been a tank slapper. So that would have either thrown him towards the inside, or he was going to nose into that outside wall real hard. But he was luckily able to keep that thing under control, wrestle that thing down, and now he's getting himself the white flag here in the lead.
The white flag is displayed for the 87, and right now you've got to think about how much this 87 has won lately and how much he's won just in the series. He has won a total of 8 times last season, which makes up a good amount of wins for him, and he will be very happy at the end of the day, and he'll get a good points day despite missing last week at Talladega, having all the festivities. So give Justin Michael in an 87 machine Toyota another win on the season. 2 starts, 2 finishes. He's perfect so far in the season for the Vegas Strong 200. Messed it up a little bit.
Yeah, good win for him tonight. He pretty much dominated this race ever since Seth DeMerchant got into the wall. So he started up on the pole, fought Seth DeMerchant throughout the opening stages of this race, made some great pit calls, and ended up winning this race handedly. The margin of victory ended up being 6.1 seconds over the 3 of Aaron Bennett.
And this will give Justin Michael sole possession of the 6th all-time leader of wins. He'll now be in front of Aaron Bennett. He no longer shares that with him, so he'll have 2 more wins to get to Justin, or to Scott Eckrich, Tommy Ryan, and Bobby Terrell. So he'll do a burnout on the front straightaway, it looks like, and he has absolutely been dominant the last season. And starting off this season, the 2 races he's been in are the 2 races he's won. He's done an absolutely fantastic job here, and we'll go through your full field rundown as they finish unofficially. Justin Michael, of course, gets that victory tonight in the 87 Toyota, and then Aaron Bennett finished 2nd, Scott Simley 3rd, Mike McCrary 4th, and Matt Mora finished 5th. Stephanie Lesentine was able to get 6th place, Brian Gutt 7th, Jamie Wonker 8th, Seth DeMerchant fell to 9th. We'll have to get a scoop on what happened there. And then Cody Gibson finished 10th, 1 lap down.
Yeah, at 11th, we have Michael Waite as well, 1 lap down. Chris Guibault in 12th. 13th, Rich Jetty. George Hendricks, 14th. 15th, Tim Matthews. Randy Tesser, 16th. Bobby Terrell, after having that bad pit issue on his first stop, will end up in 17th. He'll be the last truck 1 lap down. 18th, Michael Atkins Jr., 2 laps down. Shane Hawthor in 19th, and rounding out the top 20, Ralph Vandervorst.
Finishing 21st is Scott Formosa, who had a bad night, and then Robert Gilliwater 22nd, Michael Warren finished 23rd, Dustin Hall finished in the 24th position, Joshua Banks 25th, 26th position finished for Hal Jr., Louis Robinette finished 27th, Dwayne Dunn finished 28th, Stephen Herring, he finished in the 29th position, Jeff Ryan finished 30th, and the only 2 trucks to retire after the night was over is Channing Slatcha and Dylan Phillips tonight with the Vegas Strong 200. So as we wrap up tonight's race, we will take a quick break, but we'll talk to your top 3 after that break, and you won't want to miss what these guys have to say for the United Sim Racing and BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series. So we'll be right back.
I sat in the car, you always wonder, what's it going to feel like? It was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. My thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by you're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshield's at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway as we concluded the Vegas Strong 200, and we're going to get with your winner tonight of the 87 machine, Justin Michael. He is in victory lane, and I'm with him. Justin Michael, 2 starts, 2 wins. We've been 3 races, but it sounded like you had a little fun last week at Talladega, but you didn't really skip a beat. You came into Las Vegas, and you absolutely had a great fight with the Merchant. He got the wall, you get around him, and I think since then, or from there, you had a really good drive to the front, and tell us how it was. I mean, that was a really fun race to watch.
Yeah, it was fun. I felt really bad when he hit the wall, and I almost spun him after he hit the wall, but it sucked because I think it would have been a good finish. We were both just, I think, clicking off laps and not really trying too hard. We didn't want to run into each other, so that's a really good drive. Raced him a long time, but I hated that for him, but I think he still got a half-decent finish.
Now, talk to us about the week that you were gone. I mean, I'm not talking about, what you did at Talladega, but I'm talking about, is there any preparation more that you did this week for this race? Did you actually spend more time with Las Vegas than, of course, you didn't have to spend time with Atlanta? So was that an advantage that you had, possibly taking a week off? I mean, it's not going to help you with a terrible amount with points, but you were in 20th, and if I'm not mistaken, you might still be in that top group that makes the championship, the playoffs and chase, at least at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I hated missing last week, but it is what it is, and I think we get a drop week or two. So it'll be at the end of the year. It should be okay. But I didn't do a lot of practice here. This is one of my favorite tracks, so just running here is always kind of second nature, and we always run pretty good. Like I said, it would have been fun at the end, though, if Beth would have still been in it.
Talk about pit strategy, because once we were about halfway, we realized that this race had a really good chance of going all the way green, and which would have been astounding, especially with knowing that there was going to be a big donation at the end of the day. And with you guys trying that pit strategy, did you guys do the calculation beforehand, or did you guys just kind of feel, make it to 33, 34 laps and know that you can make it 4 stops, or did you guys just kind of feel it out knowing that there might be a caution looming?
Well, in practice, I did a fuel run and I only got 32 laps, so I almost pitted around 27, 28, but I was doing some quick math in my head. Figured, we're just gonna go ahead and try to make it to 33. As long as we made it to 33, we were fine, because 33 and then come in on 34, and we would have been good with 4 stops there, or however many it was. But I didn't really think we'd be able to do it at first, and when I saw 5 or 6 people stay out, I kind of figured we would.
We kind of lost you there for a second there, Justin, but Before we let you go, I think you know the drill. You've done it a few times. You've done it quite a few times, 8 times last season, and this is already your second time this season. Tell us who makes it happen for you.
Yeah, I just I'd like to thank all the guys out there watching, all you guys for calling the race, and Aaron and all them for putting on the show. But they're donating, I think, I was told around $1,000 after the caution-free race tonight. I'm really glad they're doing all that.
We'll be able to get the confirmation from Aaron, I think, here in a minute, because he actually finished second right behind you. So we'll get it from the horse's mouth itself. So we'll thank you for spending time with us, getting a few words from you, and enjoy the win, and you'll be in a good position for next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Justin Michael heads to next week, which is Phoenix, and he'll have a good start on that. So Kelly Dahl, though, he will meet up with Aaron Bennett on pit road, and there they are. There's Aaron Bennett.
Yeah, I'm here with Aaron Bennett. Aaron, first things first, you mentioned it many times throughout the night. We had that the donation clause of every green flag lap run. What was our final total for the night?
I told the guys before the start of the night, if it goes green to the end, instead of it being $2 for every lap, I'll just bump it up, almost double it, and just go 500 flat donation to the GoFundMe account put up by the Clark County Sheriff, I think, in Vegas or whatever it was. I can't really, it's just some GoFundMe page I found, and that's what I did. And then Steve Herring said before the race that he was also going to match it, whatever we did, so ended up doing $1,000 tonight, which is great. I don't see any other sim racing league doing that. It's a great cause. I feel bad for all the victims, especially me being a country music lover myself. I couldn't imagine going to a concert and seeing some crazy lunatic just open fire on a bunch of people. It's just it's heartbreaking, but the families will get through it and heal. Time's the biggest healer. That's all you can do, and then just help them with every little thing we can. I mean, even if this pays for a little jug of morphine or aspirin or whatever, I don't care. It's just help. Everybody chips in. It's what makes us Americans. We all bleed red.
Well, it's certainly a great cause, and we thank you for putting it to that. But now let's get back to the race. Now, it was definitely an interesting thing. Did you actually plan your strategy around it going green the entire time, or were you expecting a caution at some point?
Oh, no. I always race till it goes just about empty on everything. I've always grew up, I've always raced over here going just like that. You can go just about 33, 34 laps max if you're lucky. On the start of the race you can, because I'm not going to give away my secret, but the start of the race you can. I'll let you guys fill in the blanks. But yeah, that's my goal every race, is to go cut out a pit stop.
You saw that battle between Justin Michael and Seth the Merchant, and you were involved in it a few times. Were you expecting Seth to be up there as well, or did you think he may have had that luck running out at some point?
Well, I seen him up there at the front. I'll tell you one thing about Seth, though. He joined the league. I'd never heard of the guy, and I tell you, he's a great fit for USR. I love racing around. He's fast, he's clean, and that's what we want. And we want good, clean guys. I don't care how fast you are, as long as you're clean. That's our big thing. But no, him and Michael up there, they were the two fastest cars all night. But I think Seth, I ran up on him. It looked like he had right front damage, so I guess he tagged the wall coming out of 2. I'm assuming that's where everybody was pushing the most. I almost got it a couple times, but no, I guess the wall got him. So, but no, like I said, Justin and Seth were the fastest all night. So kudos to them. Just good to beat one of them on a mistake. What you got to do over here.
Well, next week we roll into Phoenix, and that's definitely a unique track. And how are you going to combat the dog leg that we got back there?
Just pray you don't get taken out by it. That's all you can really do. Phoenix is a crapshoot. It's not my favorite track, and it's definitely not my favorite track from an admin standpoint. It's just for whatever reason the track is just it's just a pain in the ass. Or excuse my language, pardon me, but it's just a pain. That's from an admin perspective. It's fun to drive, but it's just too many variables go in it.
Well, thank you very much, Aaron, for coming to talk to us. Before we let you go, though, we'll give you the floor and allow you to thank whoever you wish to thank.
First off, I'd like to thank the drivers of USR for putting on a good, clean race and doing the donation to the Vegas victims. It's always a good thing to do to help people in need like that. And also, I'd like to thank BNC on the Hood, Young Gun Apparel, for coming on and sponsoring a few races this year. I'd like to thank my teammates, Jamie, George, and Greg, who's currently taking the season off, and the admins for helping in USR. It's always a pleasure to race with those guys and have them yapping in your ear about different things and what's going on the racetrack. The admin's got a good grasp of everything. Hard for guys to get away with stuff over here, that's for sure.
All right, well, thank you very much, Aaron, for stopping by to talk with us. Thank you very much as well for the donation tonight, and hopefully we'll see you again next week in Phoenix.
Absolutely.
All right, that was our second place finisher, the number 3 of Aaron Bennett, and now I believe Austin Coop has caught up with the 68 of Scott Simley, our third place finisher.
Yeah, I've caught up with Scott Simley, and this is the first time we've gotten to talk to you since we asked you about your favorite sandwich, which, as you know, is our question we ask all of our champions. And good to talk to you again. Third race of the season. We've seen you always have something in common, with these last couple races, and that's kind of emerging towards the very end of a race. And I think maybe you surprise yourself with it as you're starting to climb and get past those guys that were doing some pit strategy. But I think simply just tell us how your season's going, how your off season, and how tonight went out for you.
Tonight it went like I kind of expected. I mean, we didn't qualify very well. It just seemed really tough to pass here, and didn't really have a really fast short run truck. And we knew it was in our window on the long run to do the four stop strategy and get a good finish anyway. That's just what we need. And these last couple of weeks haven't been too lucky for us. We need a little luck with it. And tonight we stayed out of with the caution free. It's just great to run caution free laps. Just a great bunch of guys. Just need to look forward to more of the same. I just can't believe, these guys should be proud of themselves for, putting on an event like that with no cautions. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for the last 2 months, we've had at least one caution-free race, one in the Real Sim Racing League and one in USR now, and you guys are coming close to it, November, and maybe we'll see another one. And the cool thing is, I think, and you know this as well as what's behind it as well. I think it's not just coincidence that on the same night that these guys had a donation on the line that for green flag laps, you guys go green all the way. So it's going to be we heard it from Aaron Bennett himself that there would be $1,000, and for you guys racing together. It sounds like you guys had a lot of fun out there, even though it was tough, 134 laps out there. But, how hard is it really to go 134 laps green flag? Because, there's a lot of iRacers that have only experienced that maybe a handful of times.
It can get pretty intense, the lap traffic too tonight it can be really challenging. I mean, there's when it goes that green that long, there's no way that anybody goes without running into some sort of traffic or an emergency situation where you just gotta go with your gut and make that last split second decision and just kind of, Atkins was pitting tonight and I didn't realize it. Either that or I didn't hear it. And I was in the low lane, I had somebody high and, just there's enough room there, it could just squeeze by, but it's just one of those things that could just ruin your day, and which has happened the last couple of weeks, so it's just good to come out with a good finish.
You've been all, excuse me, looks like you've been having, like you said, some trouble, but Phoenix is next week. How do you expect to prepare for that one? We had quite a wild finish last year. I'm sure you remember that. And for your sake, how does Phoenix look for next week? Is it something that you're looking forward to, or something that you're kind of going, well, I hope we make it through it?
Yeah, really, just keep on with good finishes. I mean, I think prove tonight that we can have a good race, and no matter where I start, if we can have green races, I'll definitely seems to be my green territory. So just hoping for that, and just have to get some practice in and see. Phoenix has been better for me in the past, but lately, I don't know, it's just kind of so-so. But see if it shows what it did last year. That was pretty cool.
All right, there you have it, Scott Simley. And before I let you go, who makes it happen on that 68 machine, and if you got any more shout-outs?
Hippie's Paint Shop, friends and family, if they're out there watching, of course. Aaron for the donation, that's very awesome. And any league out there that is going to have the chance to do it, to be this one, that's for sure. You guys, again, you just do an awesome job. And teammates out there that are always helping. Randy, Bobby, Mike, so that's about it.
All right, there you have it. 68 Scott Simley finishes third for his first top 3 of the year, and we'll probably see more of him as the year goes on. So, Kelly, 3 races down. We're 10% of the way through the season already, and we've had a lot of good racing these last 2 races, and we've only had maybe 3 cautions in the last 2 races, and this one has gone caution-free. And they've done a spectacular job tonight and making a really good cause, or racing for a really good cause tonight.
Yeah, it's a great thing to see that they kept it caution-free, and the league, as you mentioned, put in up $1,000 for such a great cause. So awesome to see. But next week we roll into Phoenix, and as mentioned, it's a very unique track. It's such a strange little track that we got here. It's technically considered a short track. You got that weird dog leg on the back, and there's just a lot of different ways that these guys can attack this track, and I don't think we're going to go caution-free that time.
We'll have to see, and I think a lot of them would want to. You can hear it in their voices that they want to go green flag racing as much as possible because that's what they enjoy. But I think we all know if it's going to be anything like last year, it's going to be a spectacular finish. We're going to have a bit of roughing up each other. It's going to be kind of our first, we had Daytona, but it's going to be our first little bit of a close racing at a shorter track with close bumping and riding each other and going fast, really close together. So we saw that tonight, but they got spaced as it goes. But Phoenix is definitely going to be a completely different monster. So we're wrapping up tonight, and then the next time you'll see us here at LSRTV will be the Full Throttle Cup Series at my favorite track and home track of Kansas. So you'll definitely see us there, and then we'll have, I think, Wednesday off this coming week, and then we'll have Upstate Racing and Super Speedway Cup Thursday and Friday of next week. And then, of course, as always, you'll see the United Sim Racing Truck Series here on Saturdays. So from all of us here at LSRTV, Austin Coop, that's me, and then you've got Kelly Dahl, Cisco Scaramuza, and from all of us in the behind the scenes part, so you've got DJ and Evan and Laura as well. So from all of us, we thank you for sticking it out with us, and we'll see you all at the next track. Good night.